I hope you're having a great week. I know things still seem really chaotic right now, but I hope you'll continue to tune in with us each and every week. We're in our third week of our series, In My Opinion. We've talked about how all of us have opinions, and it's okay to have an opinion, but it should be loving and encouraging to those around us. And last week we talked about when it's the right time to speak up. And when we do speak up, we should use kindness and love in the words we say. Now this week, before we get started, I have a question for you. Does your school have cliques? You know, that group of people that tend to have something all in common so they hang out together? Maybe it's the athletic group because all of them are athletic. Maybe they're on different sport teams, but yet they still have something in common. Maybe it's that smart group of people that sit together every week and they just excel in every academic subject. For me, I'm going to share a story. I never really was stuck to a certain type of clique. I was that person that floated around and had one or two friends from each different type of clique. But what does this have to do with opinions? I think it's because we tend to form opinions about someone based on who they hang around or what they do. And that opinion tends to become who we think they are. That's right. Sometimes when we have that one person in an athletic group, we think, they're just a bunch of jocks and they're not going to get along with me. So we think that. We think you're not going to have anything in common, or that really smart person in class. You feel like you don't really fit in with them. And so we tend to form our opinions based on the people they hang around. See, we're going to jump in a story today where there was a group of people that had an opinion about a certain someone. And maybe you've heard this story before, but we're going to look at it in a different way, with a different set of lens on. So, if you want to jump with me, we're going to jump to John chapter 8. So, if you'll jump with me, this is a story about a woman who was caught in adultery. So, we're going to start in verse 4. And it says here, they said to him, and the they is the Pharisees. It was the people the religious people of the time. So they said to him, Jesus, Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. Now in the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. So what do you say? See, let's pause right here. See, the background was the Old Testament law gave it really written very clearly. See, if anyone was caught in an act of adultery, and this woman was, basically, she was caught sleeping with someone else other than her husband. And the law was very clear. If you were caught in that act, you were to be stoned. Literally, they would pick up stones and throw them at you. And most of the times it ended in death. I don't know about you, but I definitely wouldn't want that to happen. So, basically, this rule of people wanted to corner Jesus and see what he would do, because ultimately they thought they knew what Jesus would say. They thought that Jesus would have an opinion and that he would cast judgment based on this group of people. So we're going to jump down to verse 7. And it says, as they continued to ask him, he stood up and said to them, let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her. And once more he bent down and wrote on the ground. See, Jesus changed something here. This group of people, the Pharisees, thought they were better than this woman. But Jesus decided to flip the script and say, you without sin, cast the first stone. Instead of looking outward and casting opinion on someone else based on an act they've done or a group they hung out with, he asked them to look inward first, to cast judgment and base an opinion on their own heart. But let's see how this ended. We're going to jump down to verse 10. It says, Jesus then stood up and said to her, Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? She said, No one, Lord. And Jesus said, Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on, sin no more. See, Jesus knew there was more to this woman than this one act, this one mess up, this one opinion. And her story wasn't finished. There was so much more to her. So I think what we can learn in this is that there's so much more to the people we may cast judgment on. We may form one opinion about someone based on how athletic they are, how smart they are, who they hang out with. But there is so much more to a person than that opinion you think of them. So, what can we learn? Is one, we need to worry about ourselves. We need to worry about how we view ourselves. Just as Jesus flipped the script on these Pharisees, is we need to look in our own heart. We need to look at how we're forming opinions of others, because it usually tends to start with ourselves. And we tend to form opinions about others because of our own insecurities, our own things that we have going on in our own life. Maybe it's out of jealousy, or maybe it's out of a bad experience you had with someone before, so we have one opinion of them. But we need to worry about ourselves. The second thing is we need to love them and realize that it's not just one opinion or one act that forms someone. There's so much more to someone than just one opinion or one judgment. We're called to love. Just as Jesus realized there's so much more to this woman than this one mess up she had. And that Jesus forgives us. So maybe you're here today and you know you have people forming opinions based on you because of a mess up you had. Know that Jesus looks beyond that and he calls you so much more. But maybe you're on the other end and you're casting that judgment on someone. Maybe you need to forgive yourself, but also you need to ask forgiveness from that person that you're basing an opinion on. So this wraps up our In My Opinion series. We're going to start a new series next week, so I hope you will tune in with us. Other than that, I hope you have a great week. I'm praying for you. If you have any needs, please reach out to us. My email is meagan@midwaychurch.com. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye, Midway students. Hey, Megan back here. I hope you had a great time listening to this message. I want to go over a couple things with you. Is one, be expected to receive a phone call from someone on our student ministry team. We want to know how we can be praying for you and your family during this time. Second is if you or your family has a need, please reach out and let us know. If your family doesn't have groceries and you're in need of food, please reach out to us. We want to help any way we can. Third is be on the lookout for your small group leaders to reach out as well. We're coming up with creative ways on how to continue to create community, and one of those ways is Google Hangouts. Yes, you already use that in schools, and so we're going to maximize on that and create spaces where you continue to have these small group discussions and continue to deepen in your discipleship process. So, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. My email is meagan@midwaychurch.com. We're looking forward to hearing from you.